be done, it says. It specifically refers to sand mining as a highly destructive activity in which many stakeholders, including politicians, are involved. Implications of draft plan to irrigation. The Ministry of Water Resources should be convinced not to pursue big projects for irrigation in the protected areas and to opt for minor irrigation relying on check dams, ponds, wells and other appropriate water harvesting units. Implications of draft plan to wildlife areas. The draft plan says while tourism in the wildlife areas needs to be encouraged, it must be strictly monitored and regulated. In case of any conflict between tourism and conservation interests of a PA, protected area, the paradigm for decision must be that tourism exists for the PAs and not vice versa, and that tourism demands must be subservient to and in consonance with the conservation interests of PA. Emphasis must be placed on tourism facilities that are sustainable, environment-friendly, moderately priced, clean and wholesome, rather than lavish, five-star facilities. The draft plan also calls for new regional forensic laboratories, a special tiger protection force, and setting up of special courts to deal with wildlife crime like poaching and smuggling. 2. Women are agents of change, says SC. GS Paper 1, Issues Related Women and Women Empowerment. Why recently in news? The Supreme Court has observed in a judgment that Indian women are no longer passive recipients of the state's welfare schemes, but active agents of change. Real development is only possible with their economic empowerment. A bench of Justices A.K. Sikri and A.M. Sapri in a 38-page verdict has highlighted how women have progressed from being the protected to becoming the protector. What are the observations of Supreme Court? Women had become dynamic promoters of social transformation that can alter the lives of both women and men. As India promotes Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, education for girls, scheme, empowerment of women is the need of the hour. The focus was slowly shifting from mere better treatment or well-being of women to empowering them to be economically independent and self-reliant, with a positive esteem, to enable them to face any situation and participate in development activities. Quoting Nobel Prize-winning economist Amartya Sen, the Supreme Court observed that economic development and women's empowerment had a symbiotic relationship. Poverty and lack of opportunity had bred inequality between men and women, the apex court said. It called for further policy action for women empowerment in order to stimulate economic development. Policy action is still necessary to achieve equality between genders. Such policy action would be unambiguously justified if empowerment of women also stimulates further development, starting a virtual cycle, the court said. What for SC stated the above statement. The judgment came in a case of a woman police officer, Richa Mishra, who was denied a selection as Deputy Superintendent of Police on the ground that she was overage. The apex court directed the Chhattisgarh government to appoint her in the senior rank after agreeing with her contention that there was a 10-year relaxation in age limit for women candidates under the service rules that was solely meant to encourage women like her. 3. National Deworming Initiative to benefit more than 27 crore children. GS Paper 2, Issues relating to development and management of social sector, services relating to health, education, human resources. Why recently in news? As part of the National Deworming Initiative to benefit more than 270 million children, Union Minister for Health and Family Welfare J.P. Nadda on February 9, 2016 launched the second National Deworming Day to function in Telangana. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare had first launched National Deworming Day (NDD) in 2015, which was implemented in 11 states and union territories, covering all government and government-aided schools and Anganwadi centers targeting children aged 1 to 19 years. Now, the initiative will be extended to cover the whole country. Aim of the initiative. It is aimed at protecting more than 24 crore children in the ages of 1 to 19 years from intestinal worms. Through this initiative, the government aims to create mass awareness about the most effective and low-cost soil-transmitted helminths (STH) treatment, administering albendazole tablets. Along with albendazole administration, behavior change practices in terms of cleanliness, hygiene, use of toilets, wearing shoes, chappals, washing hands etc. is also important to reduce incidence of reinfection. About intestinal parasitic worms. They are large multicellular organisms, which when mature can generally be seen with the naked eye. They are also known as helminths. They are often referred to as intestinal worms even though not all helminths reside in the intestines. Significance of this initiative. School-based mass deworming program is safe, cost-effective, and can reach millions of children quickly. Deworming has also been shown to reduce absenteeism in schools, improve health, nutritional, and learning outcomes, and increase the likelihood of higher-wage jobs later in life. It should be noted here that India has the highest burden of parasitic worms in the world. Why deworming is need of hour in India? Parasitic worms in children interfere with nutrient uptake, and can contribute to anemia, malnourishment, and impaired mental and physical development. Parasitic worms have also debilitating consequences on the health and education of children, and on their long-term earning potential. According to the 2012 report Children in India, published by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, 48% of children under the age of 5 years are stunted and 19.8% are wasted, indicating that half of the country's children are malnourished. 4. Woman adopting newborn may get maternity leave. GS Paper 1, Role of Women and Women's Organization, Population and Associated Issues. Why recently in news? For the first time, the government is set to mandate 4 months of paid maternity leave to women having babies through surrogacy, and those who adopt a newborn within 3 months of birth. The proposed amendments to the Maternity Benefit Act 1961 are expected to be considered by the Cabinet soon. What are the proposed amendments? Under the proposed amendments to the Maternity Benefit Act 1961, expectant mothers would be entitled to 6.5 months of paid leave, compared to just 3 months now. Under the proposed amendment, offices with 50 or more workers will have to compulsorily provide creche facility on their premises. Women who legally adopt a child up to 3 months of age will get maternity leave of 16 weeks. A commissioning mother or women having babies through surrogacy will also get 16 weeks of paid leave from the date of handing over of the child. The way forward. The idea is to allow women to take care of the child and then get back to work in a healthy condition. At the global level, around 98 countries provided maternity benefit of at least 14 weeks till 2013, said a report titled Maternity and Paternity at Work prepared by the International Labour Organization. 42 countries gave 18 weeks of paid maternity leave. Women working in government offices in India get a 6-month maternity leave, according to the Central Civil Service Leave Rules 1972. 5. Maharashtra tops Internet Readiness Index report. GS Paper 3 Awareness in the Fields of IT. Why recently in news? According to the recently released Index of Internet Readiness of Indian States, Maharashtra has emerged as the top-ranking state in terms of the overall Internet Readiness Index, followed by Karnataka, Gujarat, Telangana and Tamil Nadu, according to a report released. The report was published by the Internet and Mobile Association of India, IMAI, and Indicus Analytics. The Internet Readiness Index is a composite index on components like E-Infrastructure Index, E-Participation Index, IT Services and E-Governance Index. The purpose of the Internet Readiness Report is to help business and governments to leverage this strength, and policy measures can also be taken where improvements are required. Performance of various states. Among the smaller states, Delhi has emerged as the topmost state, followed by Puducherry and Goa. Even among the smaller states, those in Northeast India do not figure among the top 3. Hence, the report notes, much more needs to be done in the form of investment and infrastructure development in this region. GS Paper 3 Issues related to weather. Why recently in news? The India Meteorological Department will issue a summer forecast for April, May, and June. This is the first time in history such an exercise will be carried out. Benefits of summer forecast. Such a forecast may not be of much help to farmers, who rely on IMD's rain forecasts to make sowing decisions and don't plant their crops in these months. The information would be useful to power companies, several service sector industries and state planners who'd like a heads up on possible water shortages. Important facts. In mid-March, the IMD will send out a color-coded map of India, showing how temperatures in different regions of the country are likely to deviate from what's normal during summer months. These numbers would be updated every 5 days. The key factor to forecasting weather a few months ahead is in ensuring that the computerized weather models are consistently able to simulate the weather as it actually plays out. Businesses that have requested summer forecasts include manufacturers of refrigerators, air conditioners, ice cream and cold drinks. El Nino and heat wave. The IMD's initiative comes even as India bears the brunt of one of the longest and severest El Ninos ever experienced. El Nino is likely to continue for a couple of months more. The IMD does give warnings about imminent heat waves and dry weather, but these are no more than 5 days ahead. 7. Government likely to tweak its tax holiday for startups. GS Paper 2. Government policies and schemes. Why recently in news? The tax holiday for first 3 years, announced by PM Modi, drew a lot of criticism. The government has now decided to fine-tune it by expanding the scope of the tax holiday from the first 3 years to 3 from a block of maximum 10 years. More SOPs are likely to be announced in the Union Budget, which will be tabled in Lok Sabha by Finance Minister Arun Jaitley. A flash on the past. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Jan 16 had announced opening app-based registration for companies to be completed in a single day. A startup fund of Rs. 10,000 crore and waiver of capital gains tax for startups among the several allowances for startups. There will be no income tax on startups' profits for 3 years, the PM had announced. Unveiling a long list of doles for startups, Mr. Modi had said the government has decided to step back and minimize interference of the government. Mr. Modi has often reiterated that the government is committed to improving the ease of doing business in India. Under the Modi government, India jumped 12 places on the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business rankings that ranks nations from 142 last year to position 130.